Graham Plattner just came out and said what every single person running for Senate or Congress should be saying. He said his goal is to make sure that the Trump administration cannot function. Now, say what you want about Graham Plattner, and I mean that literally. You can say whatever you want about him. There is plenty of reason to not trust him as an individual. If you believe that he is not going to walk the walk, I see all the reasons why you believe that, and I am not going to try and convince you otherwise because he has not convinced me otherwise. So, to be absolutely clear, this isn't about whether he'll walk the walk. This is about the fact that he is talking the talk, and I want more candidates to be doing that because there's a reason why more politicians don't talk the talk. It's because if they keep talking the talk, then you might listen to them and believe what they say, which means you have every right to be pissed at them if they don't do what they say. And I'll also say, talking the talk is not enough. So if it's not enough for you, I am not disagreeing. That's not what this is. What this is highlighting the fact that at least when he says this, he's right. The Trump administration needs to no longer function, and every single person in a position of power needs to be making every decision they can to use that power to grind the entire Trump administration to a halt. If I hear another Democrat in the federal government saying, hey, I'm trying to work with the Trump administration to achieve our common objectives, I'm gonna flip shit. Someone like Mamdani can get away with that shit because he is a mayor. I'm talking about people who ostensibly are either in or want to be a part of a co-equal branch of government to the president. As in, it is your fucking job to check and balance that motherfucker at every single step. The thing is, if you want to win, that's what you need to be communicating to people. Because remember, that's how we got here, is Republicans using that strategy of guaranteeing that Democrats, whenever they were in power, had no options. And that's why so many people genuinely believe, because there is good reason to believe it, that Republicans and Democrats are collaborating. Because Republicans are always able to stop Democrats when they have power, and Democrats are apparently never able to do anything when Republicans have power. And we know that's not true. If Democrats gain the majority, they could be using the subpoena to call in every single Trump official all the fucking time. But even as the minority in the Senate, they could be revoking unanimous consent all the time. It literally only takes one senator to revoke unanimous consent on all this sort of procedural stuff, and everything that happens in the Senate takes infinitely longer, which means every big, terrible bill that Republicans have been able to get through the Senate has been because Democrats didn't want to fight. That's not conjecture. That is fact. That is objective fact. That is why people aren't showing up to the polls, because you are convincing them that it is useless. And the fact that we are communicating to you that that is convincing us that voting is useless and you aren't changing tactic tells us that you are trying to get us to believe that it is useless, that you are trying to get us to engage less. But that thought does have a sister, right? If you are trying to get us to engage less, that must mean that engaging has some value. It means that if we are able to nominate truly progressive people for these campaigns and actually vote them in, they would have actual power. And that's what you really are terrified about, all you Democrats in Congress. You aren't terrified of Republicans. They're your fucking friends. You're terrified of people getting in and making it abundantly clear that you haven't been doing your job for decades. And when that's clear, you're not going to have your job for much longer. That is, unless you maybe start fucking doing your job now.